ハロー、こんにちは。世界大会本戦初日のラストゲーム、ジェンジー VS RNG。韓国対中国の試合が2試合連続続きます。ジェンジー、LCK1 チーム、SKT も超強いけど、そこを3立てした最強チーム。今大会の優勝候補というか、もうナンバーワンじゃない？特にやばいのがミッド&ADC。ルーラーがやべえ。練習試合によるとヨーロッパの1位チームは結局ルーラーが 1v5 するって。時間経てば強すぎるって言ってた。 RNG もとても強いけどね。ガーラただ中国の4位チームか。デトネーションも一戦は取りましたよ。エートロックスファーストピック。デトネーションはずっとエートロックス開けてたからね。エートロックスに対して何を出すかまだ分かってないよ。中国はジャックス好きですけど、ジャックスグレーブス RNG は俺個人的にジャングルがめちゃくちゃうまいと思う。ジャングルがマジでうまい。ジェンジーもジャングルうまいんだけどね。ピーナッツもギャンクもうまいし、ピーナッツもガチでうまい。もうドランは世界大会でちょっと証明してほしいわ。俺まだドランを信じきってねえから。うわ、ポピーベストポッピーだね。アジール相手はサイラスが多いけど、ポッピーだからサイラス選びにくいな。ポッピー結構直されて誰も使わなくなったけどね。それでもポッピー使うんだ。てか魔王界誰も取らねえじゃん。魔王界取らないんだ。クソぶっ壊れに見えたけど。 RNG はトップゲーするかな。ドランやっぱ弱点といえばドランだろうからな。お、セナ今大会セナ出たっけ1回ぐらい。基本タムだけど。でもレヘンズはチャンピオンプールが広いんだよ。うわマジか。ユーミカウンターじゃないの。新人をサポートできるやつ世界でこいつしかいねえって。相手もしねえだろうし、何をピックしたかいいか分かんないだろうね。セナって基本タムケンチだけど新人と初めて見るわ。いやでもユーミのカウンターだったらギリ分かるんだけど、どうなんだろうね。ブラインド新人とジャックスとかグレーブスとかリサンダラの機動力を消すのかな。釘付けがあるから。あと新人がファーム食えるのか。セナだから断食セナね。ハローこんにちは。ジェンジー VS RNG 始まりました。すぐ飯食い終わるんでちょっと待ってね。ポッピーがねレベル1の回り方結構特殊だから警戒しないといけないよ。グレーブスもだけど。インベード。うわ反応する。終わってきますね。新自動孤立させていくジェンジーのボトムを。ポッピーはどう回るかな。ウルフブルーグロンプか。わいいがないからね。ここでフラッシュを早めに切ったのはいい判断。テレポートじゃないから。おでも戻ってきた。おおショービー。 ダブルフラッシュ耐久力パッチ。
But that was close. I think the Q from way there was on top of Chovy rather than in front of where he was running. So the Q2 bounce back didn't actually do any damage. Maybe if that hit, they could have got the kill. But this opens up a window for Peanut to move into the top side jungle and actually take away this red buff, which he had.
今ミッドで耐えたからレッドを食う時間が来たか。
He had to go to Wolves to heal up, and now he's going to lose his buff. And that's massive because
おバフ壊れてる。あ気づいてない。カニを優先してる。 ああだいぶドランをボコる作戦だ。これ見たんだけどデトネーションやられてなかったっけ。ミッド押し込まれてからのダイブかー。正直どうしようもない。デトネーションが同じことされて終わってたなゲーム。まずミッドをギャンクしてミッドジャングルが一緒にトップ向かうってやつな。Like I said, Drake, also a lot of proactivity coming out from RNG. They level 1 invade bot, then they look for mid gank twice, and then they go towards the top and look for a dive. Genji yet RNG はこのトップのジャックスを育てるだろうね。
Helios is slowly getting ahead as expected. And while they weren't able to kill Chovy, they did the other thing that is so important for RNG, which is free Xiaohu up to roam. You highlighted it earlier, like this is everything for this squad. Xiaohu.
今のところセナはやっぱ断食してシンジとかファームを食っていく。
I'm curious to see if they want to go back and look for another opportunity top once Wei clears out his camps and kind of inevitably pats up there, or if they're going to look to make something happen bot right now. They already have some vision.
耐久力パッチでシンジドは得をしたよな。解けなくなったから。突っ込んでアグロ引いて自由自在に敵引っ張ってこれる。ミッドシンジドが強すぎて一回でかいな膨らってけどまたバフされたからな。キャラパワーは高いかな。
Punish Gen G's bot lane for pushing in 10 CS lead for Gala right now, and they want to make this wave crash because it's kind of frozen for RNG, so Gala will try to hold it a little bit. And like I said, I mean, the Aatrox into Jax, it's actually pretty good early once he gets 3 points in Q, the cooldown's a lot lower, can trade pretty aggressively.
もうドラン CS は普通に勝ってるね。
Getting a bit of vision. RNG's mid jungle have pulled off one dive. They're looking for a roam.
セナはレートゲームチャンプ、アジールもレートゲームチャンプ。RNG はアフェリオスとジャックスとグレーブスレートゲームチャンプか。どっちがチームファイト強いのかっていうのはもうポッピーとかキャラ次第かね。射程は長いけどね、ジェンジーの方が。セナの射程は伸びるからパッシブ取って伸びるよね。セナって無限に射程伸びるよな。まあレートゲームはジェンジーだろう。
The bot lane in isolation and top lane, as good as it's going for Doran right now, that kill really helps breathe out. Now he's TP'd back after taking some bad trades. Waves pushing out, Way is on the way.
トップジャックス対エートロはエートロが不利なんだろうけど、一応セナのウルトがあるね。セナのウルトも忘れちゃいけねえ。ルーラーがキャリーするの楽しみだったんだけど、今回はサポーティブ ADC ですね。こういうプレースタイルもできると。ポッピーがファームでグブ相手勝ってる。おーっとポッピーがいるからなんとかなりますね。トップのこのダイブのタイミングでしっかりピーナッツがトップ側にいるのはでかいな。しっかりケアしてあげてる。あれジャングルのポジション次第ではもうエートロ死ぬからね。ほんと今ので死んでたらエートロはもうおしまい。2ウェーブ3ウェーブ失って、今ここでポッピーがトップカバーするのはでかいですね。I think it's inevitable before the time that the RNG just starts stacking these dragons. I mean, they have constant bot push, they're controlling the wave. All they need is Way to hover down here to get these dragons. Herald spawning in 30 seconds, so we'll see if Gen G decide to respond. ボットは平和やね。 ヘラルドがそろそろ湧くけど、ヘラルドを取るのはどっちだ？
RNG actually have been taking quite a few early drakes and just playing to stack those up. With Wei being here already, that might be the play, but Chovy having Cryo, they're going to be able to go for it just yet.
Yeah, Chovy with cleanse available as well makes it a lot easier for him to step forward with some confidence here.
RNG は寄る。ジェンジーはボトムフリーズしてたから行くつもりはないみたいだね。結局レートゲームになれば勝てると。ADC もフルコミットしてんな。
And Gala being here makes me wonder if they're just gonna full swap. He's hovering back towards mid now, but they're gonna lose a lot of creep spot. They're gonna lose
ボトムレーン捨てるのか。
well for this. So I feel like this could have been a play that they played a little bit better, where they actually just push bot lane, have Gala go back there in the first place. Then
もうちょっとおっとミッドでアクションが起こせればだけどね。うわあこれは超尾やられる。あら超尾引っかかる。相手がボトム来るの遅れるから結構有利取れるかなと思ったけど、チョービーが捕まるか。
Didn't commit the flash, so at least no type of repeat play you have to be too afraid of, but huge kill for RNG.
Yeah, great play there, punishing Chovy. He's been under a lot of pressure this game with Wei just running through mid constantly from the early stages, and Xiaohu, of course, the second he dings over to 6, but despite the cleanse, they do have enough CC to at least burst him out.
チョービーが CS 負けてるだと。何が起きてるんだ。
Doing pretty well up in this top lane, up against Breathe. Dragon wasn't taken by Genji. They got a plate, they got a couple waves in.
10分110 CS じゃないの。
Gala will still get this push. Peanut now on this top side.
Maybe looking to make something happen. Breathe, no counter strike. Maybe anticipating some sort of gank to come in from Wei, but instead just focusing on getting the wave in, trying to make sure Breathe cannot just freeze it here.
It's quite interesting that RNG haven't really put too much attention top, right? With the one
ポッ
early
ピート
gank,
ップ見てる
that's
ね。
about it, just leaving Breathe
カウンター逆狙いか。
to his own devices, scale up for later on.
Go. Oh. Resisting.
Short trades from the Jax. Just wants to queue in, threaten the stun, and then back away, and then keep range on the Aatrox to make sure he doesn't get poked out by the Qs. Peanut's in a base. RNG didn't have information on the enemy jungler, but they have so much vision to work with now that they can assume that he is towards the top side. So RNG have so much agency.
RNG はボトムのワードしっかり取れてるね。レッド、クルーグ、チキンに全部ワード置いてる。ポッピーが見えないのでドラゴンを触りに行く。おっとレオナがウルトをしよう。新自動はなんだクレンズかなんか持ってたのかな。
And they still have the Herald up and available for Wei. This has been a really solid early game for RNG, shutting down at the level 1. Yes, it went a little bit south and they weren't able to kill Chovy, but it freed up Xiaohu to roam to the top side. Pretty consistent thus far. See if Genji can kind of recover and make some plays of their own, but it'll be tough as long as RNG are still holding on to that Herald.
Yeah, we've seen Peanut primarily kind of just shadowing what RNG been looking to do. Hasn't really had the opportunity to make any plays for himself. His lens.
You're not supposed to chase the Singe, but I don't know.
新自動ウルトを使って硬いぞ。レオナフラッシュ。
Yeah, Ming just using the E flash there. Second time he's done that this game to keep forcing flashes out of Genji. First it was Ruler, now it's Lehens. That's a TP bot, so Lehens with the spellbook of course has TP.
ルーラ誘ったのか。ルーラ誘ったように見えるぞ。持ってこれない。テレポートが来たっていうコールがありましたね。リサンドからテレポートしたからバックピング大抵これ以上追わない。
RNG, their Rift Herald is actually incredibly close to timing out. I wonder if they're sending Gala and Ming mid now with Wei. Drop the Herald, get some gold onto AD carry. Doing a nice job having Xiaohu cover in that bottom lane.
Wei has so much discipline, doesn't take the wave. Could be an easy Q there, just get himself ahead. Could be a bit greedy, but he decides not to. Good guy Wei.
That's how I know you're a jungler. You're praising him because he's not auto-attacking a cannon creep in a pro game.
So juicy. Hang on a second, Lehens.
新自動
Flip back. Xiaohu not a ton of mana, should just be able to escape here, but Lehens definitely a nuisance to say the least.
So there's the Herald mid. Gold going over to the jungle bot lane of RNG, which are now going to hang around this mid lane. They don't have TP on Xiaohu, so that means that they can defend Breathe a lot easier by having their bot lane mid, so they can cover both.
序盤は結構スローペースだね。
And this is the threat of having the mid push. You can constantly hover towards the bot side.
新自動セナのこのパワースパイクがいつになるんだ。
hide and seek with people right now with his X flash.
セナはミッド、シンジド一人でボトム。これフラッシュなくてだいぶじゃね？
Also just around the corner. Huge increase to armor and ammo.
グブウルトでキャンセルできるけど。
But they're going to be able to grab a lot of plates here. Gala, I'm not sure how much ammo he has
おお、
left on
バッ
his
ク間に合っ
or
た。
when the chakram will be back up. But if he has access to the white gun, he's going to shred through this tower. Ruler on the way down, and oh, he's a very squishy boy. Will he walk into the darkness? Ruler. Oh my God, audience. He's got.
あのルーラー。どうしたジェンジ。ポッピーウル、うわ、うまっ。ポッピー W をフラッシュして当てにいったぞ。アジールはミッドで戦って降りては来れない。リサンドラはアジールを止めた。
No more gap close, doesn't have the E up, but it's just a huge fight in the bot side. RNG win this 3v3 so incredibly hard. Ruder has no sums, he dies instantly. Wei tries to escape. Really good play by Peanut to shut down his ult, kind of gap close to get away by flash Wing. But RNG are just dominating this game through bot lane. Lehen's just really far behind right now.
And we've seen RNG just again pushing the pace of the game. This is something I don't think
セナシンジドがあんまうまくいってるようには見えないな。
We're going to see here what happened. Just incredible patience coming out from RNG, able to land the Zenith play. But here, Cajol gets so dicey.
Yeah, it does, and this is where Peanut makes this great play to stop Wei from getting the dash. But look at the vision in the top left. Gen.G are putting their wards defensively in their own jungle. That's how hard it is for them to contest River right now. RNG own the mid-bot side of the map. Anyone steps up, Lehen's would have been dove if he didn't base. Ruler walks into his own jungle, he dies. It's really hard for them to find any angles right now. And with Dragon up in 50 seconds, I think RNG are just going to be able to secure that really easily. Herald's up, can Gen.G fight that as well? I don't think they can.
I think the big struggle right now, honestly, is that Peanut and Lehen's the two members who have
ちょっとジェンジーは今の時間帯は火力がないね。
a lot of damage. So the later we get, maybe it'll become more.
レートゲームはセナが足りるんだろうけど、今のところちょっと火力が足りないんじゃないか。
Gen.G to finish anybody, they're just gonna walk in, take this Herald. Gen.G opting for the spectator play, walked into the rift, threatened, hoped maybe RNG would back off, but it does not work.
And Xiaohu's hovering around mid right now. Wei almost gets pulled back into Doran, so Xiaohu can clear the mid wave. So what RNG've done there is a 4-1 rotation, right? Your 4 from mid go top, your 1 from bot goes mid, and you don't lose anything. You only scared.
いやでもチョビ気づいたら15分 160CS 食ってるわ。
Because Xiaohu has no DP, but they will all base, come back out on the map, and then start contesting this dragon, which is about
10分80ぐらいのペースだったのに。 どうなってんだ。
Lehen's coming in, now grounded, gonna throw him back in, not quite gonna hit the Rudy's lead over, now he's looking for
おお、ジャックスこっち来たぞ。
the snare, where's it going to go? Lehen's chasing him down.
捕まえられるか。
Inevitability breathes just slowly, but surely getting burned down, but
うわー、ちょっと待って、信じどーい。
how does he get one back? The patience to hold the leap strike.
Yeah, so huge coming out from Breathe.
2段ジャンプしたぞ。
Made that happen. This is why RNG are so happy.
トロールじゃねえか、やっぱあのジャンプ。
into the bloody wall, he didn't escape, he misplayed it, but still managed to find a kill. Gala's fighting Peanut here.
Gala leaping away, Chovy!
チョビ相手のフラッシュを待つ。やっぱピーナッツのポッピーはちげえな。
And that could be the difference maker.
ピーナッツのポッピーはちげえわ。
Chovy with some items. He will outrange everyone on the side of RNG.
さすがポッピーの回り方、ヘクステックフラッシュうまく利用してゲームバグらせて LGL を炎上させた男。
Sometimes we see teams hold this Herald, the second one, for a tier 2. Obviously gives a lot more gold and they've cracked open bot, so maybe that's what they're waiting for. But up against the Nazir, I think it's just worth it to get that tower down and keep the control around the map.
I think especially because we've seen a lot of RNG's success have come from that vision line. They've pushed into Gen.G's jungle, break open mid-turret, they'll be able to do that top side. But this play from Breathe was bonkers.
It really was. The root doesn't land with the flip into the Singe W, so he tries to escape here. Let's watch Breathe. He flashes into the wall right now. So he doesn't escape, but then he still turns around and finds
ジャックスフラッシュをミスったんだ。お、チョービー何これ。狙われたんだね、ミッドで。
So there's a lot of skirmishing going on the map. Look at the damage.
Man. I have never been so excited watching a dude hit somebody with a lamppost.
そう、シンジドがフリップしてポッピーの W にぶつければそいつもう動けなくなるのか。ポッピーシンジドの相性もあるのか。いけんのかな。
All in their favor. 2000 gold lead. We'll see how Gen.G defend the map right now.
Way has the Herald. And like you said, I mean, mid turret's still up. It feels like this is a problem that RNG need to deal with. Chovy only gets closer and closer to his second item. He's going to be able to non-stop clear these waves.
Peanut Doran on the top side.
でもトップはドランマジでうまくファーム食ってんな。 TP 来てるよ。ポッピーウルトある。うわーミスったピーナッツ。
RNG, they commit the TPs and they find the play. It finally gives them an opening to use this Rift Herald. We see Chovy doesn't commit for the full turret on bot side, does stop the recall and does go for it.
So then how much can RNG get on this top side if the Herald's going to kill the tower? I wonder if RNG are going to push in mid and move towards this top tier 2 while they see Chovy down there.
特殊な構成だけど今のところ押されてるね。レートゲームはめっちゃ強いだろうけどあまりいいペースじゃないぞ。おおルーラーサイドステップでウルト避ける。
Fishing for the charge. Peanut gonna move in, has the smite auto attack, maybe can finish it before Chash
is. Ooh, can't finish.
RNG get the and one on the Herald charges.
RNG are just running away with this game. You look at the game state and you ask yourself, what can Gen G actually do? They decide on a top dive, but then Xiaohu instantly TPs. Ming's already there because of mid push, and boom, collapse comes in.
さすが元グリフィンのメンバーが2人いるだけはあるな。構成が謎や。CB マックスはこのチームじゃないけど。狙いがあるんだろう。3人や。あ、そっか3人か。ドラン、チョービー、レヘンズ。ドランはその時ね、ソード先輩にかなわなかったから。メインメンバーソード先輩だから。グリフィンでドランが出たことってあるっけ？俺の記憶にはないけど。
For RNG looking forward, again, the big thing to me is just Gala. Gala being so far ahead of the Gen G bottom lane has had the Gale Force for a while.
セナ今魂49。少なくね？あまりにも少なくない？まともに魂食えてない気がする。20分49って少ねえよな。100近くなきゃダメなんじゃねえの
？Their easy win condition right now is dragon stacking. 50 seconds until the infernal dragon spawns, and they can just secure that, get themselves on soul point. I think Gen G are forced to fight this next dragon.
最近セナをピックするチームはなかったけど、やっぱ弱いのか。まあでもうまくいってるキャラを選んでるわけだからね。練習試合ではうまくいってんだろう。その強さを見せてくれ。結局チョービーのダメージ次第かな。チョービー次第な感じはするよな。
Battle lines are drawn. Gen G coming through mid. RNG on the bot side of this fight. What can Chovy get done? Does he go in? Does he play for front to back?
サンドラゴンだぞサンドラゴン。ポッピーのウルトが重要だ。ポッピーのウルトでニーズ差を作りたい。あ、ジールやられた。ポッピーウルトで飛ばしたけど。おっと韓国の1位チームが中国の4位チームに食われるのか。4位チームだぞ RNG。T1 は難しい構成を決めたのに、この Gen G の構成はどうなってんだ。うまく決めることができていない。
Control the game, dominating fight, both objectives to their name, 5k gold lead.
And Xiaohu and Breathe are really far down in CS, 40, 50 CS deficits, but it's the skirmishes where they're excelling, and they walk into the meat grinder of RNG. Gen G are really lucky.
いやー、ミングのこのレオナ、いいフラッシュが鋭いね。
But even still, RNG just run straight through them.
Yeah, and I think it's so important that Gala I don't know if it's a Moonlight Vigil or a Q coming out from the Calibrum, but just able to get that last tick of damage to take down Chovy, who he said kind of needs to be this huge playmaker, this huge DPS source for Gen G.
Look at the levels on the solo lanes. Breathe and Xiaohu are down a level right now. That's how much they're kind of losing the lane in Breed's case, getting pushed in by Doran, and the amount of the Xiaohu's just giving up waves to roam around and TP for the team, TP for the skirmishes. Jungle and bot lane ahead for RNG right now.
セナのレベル9なんだけどどうなってるんだ。結局チョービは育つんだけど化け物ではあるけどな。モレロ行ってっからちょっと強くなるまで時間かかりそう。トータルゴールドは4000。このゴールド差は全然大丈夫なんだけど問題は4ドラゴン。セナのスタックが52。俺さっきから3しか増えてねえぞ。3分で3しか増えてねえ。
Terrain around the tier 3 is so much easier to defend than the terrain around a tier 2. So mid and bot tier 2 full. What RNG will do is they'll do an exact same 4-1 setup, but they'll put Breed top this time to crack open the top tier 2. RNG looking to fight though. Breed has TP.
Peanut in the area. Ooh, Zenith Blade just
え
barely knocked
エートロックスってウルト打つと周りのやつらフィアかかんの。チキンフィアかかってた。
And there's no defense really, is there? Unless Gen G just decided to take a fight, but lacking the Aatrox ult. Doran just picked up the death stance, so small spikes coming in. They'll try their best to defend this, but 40 seconds left on this Baron buff gives RNG 2 waves to play on. The question is, do they look to just full-on dive here? They're giving up mid-wave. They're just sending 5 members top here. Gen G matching. Lehen's on the way.
チョービーのデスキャップが出るまで耐えたい。ピーナッツが動けない。セナのウルトでなんとか耐える。やられる。11交換。しかしジャングルとサポートの交換。でも負けてるからジェンジはターン守れるし悪くはねえトレード。
Absolutely shredded through. Has a lot of tenacity, but RNG does have a lot of damage. Gala wasn't even hitting him in that fight, and he still got melted straight through. Needs to be really careful on stepping up. I think he was trying to bait out some cooldowns here and then just escape afterwards. See him dashing onto Xiaohu, but he used his Q, I believe, on the ground.
アジールのスキンマジでかっけえな。
And by the time he's trying to escape here, he's already engaged upon. Ming does go quite deep. I think he tried to E Peanut there and actually hit Lehen's on the backside, so he went under tower. He ends up falling, and Gen G defend his top tier 2.
And really good ult from Gala there, but Gen G either with enough peace of mind or a little bit of luck to step just out of range of each other to stop.
アジールがデスキャップまだ出ない。ドラゴン前にこれ出さないと。おいシンジとファーム食うんじゃねえバカ野郎。おいアジールのデスキャップが優先だろ。
45 seconds away from Infernal. This Infernal is everything. RNG take it, it feels like there's almost no way for Gen G to come back.
Yeah, and when we look in the inventories of RNG members, right, Xiaohu AB finally able to finish.
出たデスキャップ。
We have a stopwatch for Gala, so having a lot of these defensive tools that if Gen G are able to find a bit of a nice engage for themselves, it still seems like RNG have the tools necessary to
エートロックスあそこの壁越えられんの。
engage from Peanut. If Lehens maybe flashes in and it is able to
4ドラ20秒ポジションは取られてる。ゴールドも6000ゴールド差。いやーえぐいね。どうやって勝つんだこれ。アジールは強い。アジールがフリーダメージ出さないと。おードランこれはブリンクしたー。お疲れー。無理だね。4ドラですね。戦わないといけないけど TP はあれでも30秒だぞ。30秒無理だろ。無理だ。スティールしに行くことすらできない。アジールチョビーゲーミング No way いやー、アフェリオスの一発でなんかポッピー HP34 割消えだぞ。
A lot of respect from RNG in a 5v4 in a position where your top laner's TPing back. You have a soul, but then you decide not to pull the trigger and set up for Baron instead.
Yeah, I guess maybe
ジェンジーとしてはここでシンジドセナで勝ってシンジドを敵に固定バーンさせたかったんだろうけどな。
still have all their tools up.
ゼリユーミカウンターとして、ユーミカウンターとしてこのシンジドを出してたけど、
For RNG to pick
ブラインドシンジドはね、
start setting up to break down these inhibitors.
What is Gala gonna buy here from base? Just base has a BF sword and a stopwatch. Hasn't completed an Infinity Edge yet, but I think he's getting very, very close. But
そう毎回出してるわけでもねえからな、このシンジド。
look for a turn. You have to imagine
ユーミ用なのに。
and that's what Genji want to stop. They don't want to
よう
lose
わかん
any
ねえ
mid
な。
push. They want to keep this mid push in so they can at least get some vision in this top side river while RNG's on a reset. Maybe even try to force this mid tier one. But Xiaohu has TP and needs to be careful. Pings on the bot side, wards around the entrance red. Xiaohu could just TP behind them here. It's a bit far at this point. Genji now in this river.
And Xiaohu is terrifying because the Poppy solves so many problems for the side of Genji, but it does not
インファーナルソウルさ、ドラゴンも1個も取れてないジェンジ。
Gala with a potential follow-up as well. Has the Infirm ready. Big blue ulti could seal the deal on the team fight very quickly. Ming fishing, looking for a little bit of
あと30分ぐらいゲームが伸びれば、30分ゲーム伸びれば、セナが最強になるだろうけど、
He's staying strong in the mid lane. High risk every time they
そんな時間はくれないぞ、RNG。
could spell the end of the game. Despite that, they're walking forward with confidence. They're contesting the Baron pit. They're contesting this vision.
I think Genji know if they give up this Baron vision for 5 to 10 seconds, it's as good as gone. But RNG are slowing it down. Gala wants to base here and pick up IE. I imagine there it is. Infinity Edge picked up. He was sitting on a lot of gold. This is Genji's one window to force Baron. I
ジ
think
ェンジ、バロンを触る。フェリオスバックしてる。
this is their only window back into the game.
An incredible read, but will it pay off?
フェリオスがバックしたのを見たのかわからないけど、始めてるね。はあ、これ取っても死ぬんじゃねえかっていう。チンファイトどうなる。アフェリオス遠い。でもアフェリオスが来る。ポッピーのウルト当たらず。アフェリオス、おいおいおいおいおいおいおいおい。韓国1位チームどうなってんだ。こんなふざけたボトムデュオなんか期待してなかったぞ俺。ルーラー最強じゃなかったのかよ。なんでルーラーにセナなんだよ。ポンさんにジン渡すようなもんだぞこれ。おいやばい、アフェルスやばいんだけど。ってことはデトネーションがジェンジより強いってことで OK？